What's up, people? Anyway, are you someone who is thinking of running and just taking a break off from work, and you're looking for a country to go to or a nearby place, and you're thinking maybe I should go to Ghana, but you don't know how to go about it, or you don't know how much that would take, and you are working with a budget? Then this video is for you. So what you're going to do for me right now is to click on the like button, which is below, so that YouTube is going to also push it to other people who are in need of this information. What are you waiting for? Click that button right now. Anyway, so I've been getting questions about this recently, like even in my Ghana video I made on this channel, and people have been asking different questions. But this particular comment I got 2 days ago made me say, you know what, let me just shoot a video, because I think a lot of people, I believe a lot of people want to travel this period, so this would help, especially for people who don't have an idea of how to go about it. I've been to Ghana twice in the past year, so I believe I have info to give you. Now, I want to start with the essentials, the thing you should know before going. You have to decide if you want to go by land or you want to go by air. And with that being said, since Ghana is an ECOWAS country, it's free visa entry, so you don't need a visa. You don't need to get a visa before going. You can enter into Ghana up until 3 months in Ghana, if I'm correct, 3 months free of visa. After which, if you are going to extend your stay, you have to apply for a visa. Right, so that's first thing first you want to know. So that means that now a lot of people ask me, oh, so do I go with my passport? There are two things. One thing I've noticed is that the first time I traveled to Ghana, I went by air. I had to carry my passport, like it was a non-negotiable, right? But when I was going by land, I also took my passport. But when I got to this particular company called ABC Transports, the transport by land, they said you could go without your passport as long as you have an identity card. You know, it's within ECOWAS. If you have an identity card, then you're good to go. That's your NIN. Yeah, so if you have that, you're good to go. Right, so if you don't have a passport and you want to travel, that means you can still travel without your passport by land. By air, I'm not sure. You might want to confirm with any airline going to Ghana. I know Air Peace goes, Ibom Air goes, one AWA. That one is from Ghana, but it also goes from Lagos to Ghana as well. I wrote some of them down here so that I don't miss out anything to say. So that's that about your passport. So you just need to know that, just have your passport. But if you don't have your passport and you're going by land, then fine. Because let me tell you something, why I'm saying this. The difference between traveling by air and traveling by land is significant within West Africa, which I'm very conversant with. I don't know about other parts of Africa, but other people say the same thing, that traveling within Africa is stressful and a lot of work. Because if you're traveling by air, it's very smooth, but if you're traveling by land, the case is different, and I will explain as we go on. Now, sort out your passports, and just remember you're Nigerian. If you're a Nigerian, you don't need a visa, okay? But always double check the current requirement before flying, because I'm not sure when you will be seeing this video, maybe things would have changed, so always confirm. 2 is your health and safety, and that's your yellow fever card. Now, that's where I'll bring by air. I have my yellow fever card, right? I took it at the Ministry of Health. I took it years ago, yeah, in Abuja. For you now, you also want to get your yellow fever card. Sometimes they may not ask for it, but you just never know, so you just have to carry it. The recent one, when I went by land, by road, I mean, I carried it, but they didn't even ask me for it at all. Like, that's when I was moving from Lagos to Accra. But when I was moving from Accra to Cote d'Ivoire, they asked me for my yellow fever card. So that's why I'm saying you have to carry that with you. But if you're moving with ABC only goes to Ghana, Cotonou, and Togo. They don't go to Cote d'Ivoire. If you're moving with ABC, be rest assured, as for now, if you don't have your yellow fever card and you go with them, it doesn't matter, because they even say that if you don't have it, it's okay. You just need your national identity card. So yeah, that works. But if you're going by air too, you may not even need your yellow fever card, because I know someone who went by air recently, and they said, I think with Ibom Air, and they said there was no need for them. He confirmed, I think he called the airline or something. Money matters now. In Ghana, you spend Cedis, right? So now maybe you're taking in a foreign country, if you're coming from Nigeria, you might either be taking naira with you, or you're taking dollars or pounds, anyone. But if you're going by land, you know that before several borders, you have two countries in between Nigeria and Ghana. You know, some people think like Nigeria, after Nigeria is Ghana. No, you have two countries in between Nigeria and Ghana. So you have Togo and you have Cotonou. So now you might want to you can exchange your money maybe in Cotonou border or in Togo border before entering Ghana. So there will be people, exchange guys at the borders trying to exchange money. One tip I will leave for you is that make sure to know what the rate is online before exchanging money. So that will give you an idea of how much it is, so that you're not being taken advantage of. Do you get it? By land is 12 hours, even more for some companies, or depending on the situation on the road and depending on the border checks and all those things. And by air is 1 hour. Yeah, 1 hour. Now for connectivity, you want to get a local SIM card, especially if you're spending some days in Ghana. You want to get a local SIM card. Or another thing you can do, if you can, is to roam your SIM card, your Nigerian SIM card in Ghana. But you have to roam it before you get to Ghana, so that you have connectivity to be able to roam it here, or go to like maybe if you use MTN, go to the MTN office to roam your card. When you get a local SIM card, you might need an ID card. But if you are in the airport, I had a friend change their SIM card at the airport, and they paid 110 cedis. It's quite a lot. But if you go to the MTN office in Accra, you will get it for a lot cheaper, like around 20 cedis or less safe. So, but you need an ID card to register. So when I went, my host that opened for me, while I said that there are two countries between Nigeria and Ghana, in those two countries you spend different currency, because they're francophone speaking country. They spend West African franc, so you can also exchange like a little amount of money, especially if you want to buy something within that region. Maybe you want to buy some food, or because they'll make some stops if you're going by road. But remember, by air, just 1 hour straight, you're there, you're in Accra. So another thing you actually have to notice that Ghana speaks English, like it's an Anglophone speaking country, but you have to be aware that they speak their language, because they have one language that is common for everybody, that is popular among everybody, which is called the Tree language. So when you're there, you may feel a little lost, especially if you're coming from another country. But if you speak in English, almost everybody understands you. Do you get it? Now let's go to phase 2, which is budgeting Ghana. Your 500k on ground strategy. Say you're going for a 3-day trip, and this is for people who are their budget is very tight, and they don't have a lot of time to spend traveling. They took like maybe some 3 days off to just quickly go, or maybe 4 days off to just quickly go to another country, 3 to 5 days off from work, and you're going to another country to just go and chill, do some vacation and touristy stuff. So this is the plan. I just planned this one for you, assuming that if you have handled your flights, it's not part of this 500k. If you're going with flights, just add 300k to the 500. Let's say it's 500. That's 800k. Because going by flights alone, like just going from Lagos to Accra with any of these airline, I just even checked today, with Air Peace, will cost you 258,000 naira. This is 260,000 naira, because they will still add other things by the time you click on this. This is about 260,000 naira just going. So just going and coming is 260, and that's already exceeded 500,000 naira. So you want to put that in mind. So you want to put an extra for your flights, okay? But if you're going by land, let's work with 500,000 naira. I'm going to show you my recommended breakdown. Remember that these are estimates based on my experience. Things can be higher than this, or they can be lower. So it's not like, oh, this is definite. No, please. This is just me. I just want to give you an idea, because some people are very visual people. Like, if you can do this, don't travel alone. As a solo traveler, that's like, oh, what you're counteracting. Why are you saying don't travel alone? Why I'm saying that is that if you're a budget, especially when you want to travel within a budget, it's better to travel with somebody, because you're able to do a lot of things and not spend so much. You're able to split accommodation. Imagine like you go with another person, or there's a group travel, you split the costs the taxi costs, the accommodation, the different things. You're able to split it within yourselves. But if you go alone, you have to bear all the costs alone. Do you see? But if you don't get somebody, and that's why I started traveling solo. If you don't get someone, don't wait and say, oh, there's nobody and it's sulking. Just, take the courage and go. Of course, you have to take some measures as a solo traveler, especially for a female solo traveler. But then that's just the tip. Try traveling with people, a friend, or do a group trip and just do it. For accommodation, you have the hostel bed, you have the guest room, that's the like Airbnb sort of situation, and you have the hotels. Can you guys still see me? They just took the lights now, but we're not going to stop. This I stayed in was in close to Labadi. I found it on Airbnb, and at the time it was 300 cedis per night. That's around 35,000 naira. Remember that you're spending 3 days, but it's before night. Why? Because the day you're getting into Accra, for instance, that night, then day 1 night, day 2 nights, day 3 nights before you travel. Do you get it? That's how it's calculated. So we're working with 4 nights. So 4 nights times 35 will give you 140,000 naira. Don't worry, I did the maths before. You don't think, how did you calculate that? Where you find accommodation, you can either use booking.com or use Airbnbs. But you need to understand that for Airbnb, you need to pay before you even get a chance to communicate with your host. You can't get access to your host until you have paid. Now that's how it works for Airbnb, and they will ask you for your passport and some identification or something like that. That's how Airbnb works. Make sure that you confirm your accommodation before traveling to any country, because you can get stranded. For bookings.com, there are some apartments or some hotels that you have to pay. .com has this thing where some accommodation you just have to book it. But even when you book, make sure to send a message to the host and say, oh, I'm coming in. I want to be sure that this place is booked down. Do you get it? If you are choosing a hostel, it might be cheaper than that. But you have to realize that in a hostel, you can see like 3-4 bunk beds, and some are mixed. You can have male, female inside. Some are just female. So imagine if you're going on a group trip, and that's why I'm like, group trips sometimes make sense, because if you're going on a group trip, you all can stay in the hostel and you're on a budget. You can stay in that 4 bunk bedroom, and that is, you're familiar with the people there. But imagine you're going and you don't even know the people. But that still works. It works for some people. I have stayed in a dormitory like that in Netherlands long time ago, my first solo trip. It was weird, but I mean, everybody, like by morning, everybody had gone to do their touristy things. So only in the evening you meet them, or if you are always going out, you may not meet. But of course, you might be quite worrisome about your things, your luggage. Some of them provide like spaces and safe lock for you to keep your things. So there's that, but privacy and all those kind of things, there's just a lot with that. So it depends on you, or honestly. Now, when you're looking for a place, if it's an Airbnb, for instance, you can book like a 1-2 bedroom, or maybe let's say like a 2 bedroom. Let's say you put out 4, you can book a 2 bedroom, right? And then that means you share the bill amongst yourself and you have your place to yourself. So my recommendation for you would be this: look for places around Osu, Labadi, cantonments, please. You want to look for places that are closer to the city center, to touristic places that you want to visit. That's one of the advice my Ghanaian friend gave me, and I'm really grateful for it. Because the first time I went to stay inside, I think West Legon or something, and it was so far from everywhere, and it was so discouraging, especially when you're on a solo trip. You don't want anything that will impede or become an obstacle to visiting places or going out as you want to. Now let's talk about transportation. So one thing I want you to do before you step the 4 walls I'm saying 4 walls of Nigeria. I was talking to my Nigerian audience, but if you're not Nigerian, you also find this helpful. Most of these tips helpful. Download all the apps. In Ghana, I mean, for taxis, for hailing a cab or ordering a cab online, I mean. So you have Uber, Bolt, and Yango. These 3 I know that works in Ghana. So make sure you download these 3. So what I used to do is that when I want to go to a certain place, I check on different apps to see which one is cheaper, and then I use that one. I noticed in my last trip that Uber was cheaper. It may have changed now, I'm not sure, but just make sure to have these apps. And they also have what you call trotro in Nigeria, in Lagos. That's what you call this, like mall where these buses, and they also do those things like, yeah, they'll be calling different places, just like Ikorodu in Accra too. Like they can say la 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 or something like that. 32. I remember saying there's one place they call like 32 in Accra. So just be sure, because but that one you have to make sure that you know where you're going to. For me, after like spending few days in Ghana, right, I started using public transport. So what I would do is I'll just ask people around, like, I want to go to this certain place, how do I get there? And then when I get into the distance, I also ask people like, so like, oh, please let me know when, do you know where this place is, and that kind of thing. Or I remind the conductor, the guy who is conducting, who they call mates in Ghana, they call it driver mates, the driver's mate, and tell him, oh, I will be stopping at this place, so please, so I beg, that kind of thing. So there's that. But if you're just going on your girly trip and that, please, you want to use your taxi, you want to use your cab, so make sure you download all these apps, okay? For transportation, you can budget like 40k for the 3 days. And how I did it was that, let's say you spend like 12,000 per day, depending on where you are going to. Now, like I said, if you are going with people, it's cheaper. Why is the light doing this? Like, why are they playing with this light? Anyway, the electricity, they're playing with it. A typical short ride within the city using like your boat or your Uber can be around 3,000 naira to around 7,000 naira. So you have to put that in mind. Let's come to food and drinks. Of course, street foods are a lot cheaper than, let's say, going to a restaurant. Yeah, so it depends. Chop bad. Now, Ghanaian food, if you're in Nigeria, don't worry, you're not going to have an issue with Ghanaian food. The reason is because our foods are not, they are quite similar. If you're someone that doesn't like to really explore, three Ghanaian food you must not miss out on is wache. Listen to me, wache. Then there's kelewele. It's like made with plantain, but they have this their sauce, flavored sauce that is on it, so it tastes different. Then maybe any of these soups, jollof rice, Ghanaian jollof, of course. You have to try Ghanaian jollof because you have always been seeing the rave online, so you need to try Ghanaian jollof. Personally, I love Ghanaian jollof. I love Nigerian jollof as well. Anyway, so there's that, and then you can try any of the soups, any of their soups, and swallow. From street food, you can get a feeling from like 2,000 to 5,000 naira and above. So for food, I also put 40,000 naira for food, because let's say you're eating like twice a day, 5,000 naira per meal. That's like 5,000 times 2 twice a day. That was 10,000 naira, and 10,000 naira times 3, or sometimes you might want to get some other things too, maybe on the 4th day when you're leaving or something, and when you're coming. So I'll just put 40,000 naira for you. I remember going to a high-end restaurant. It's called 360 something, and of course I was craving Nigerian food. Actually, that's why I went there. Our meal, like per person, was 100 cedis. That's about 10,000 naira at the time. Now it should be about 13,000 naira, because the Ghanaian currencies are stronger, really strong. So you can get a bottle of water like this for maybe 2 cedis, like 3 cedis, 3 cedis or more, or 5 cedis. 5 cedis for those people working inside the mall. You can get it for 3 cedis. You can find some for 2 cedis, which is around 200, 300, 500, depending on where you buy from. So just put that in mind as well. Now for activities and sightseeing, which most of you are like looking out for. So what about activities? What are we going to do? I got you. For your budget for this sightseeing, some of these places you have to pay before you can see the, like, for the tour. Some of these places, they are free. So for your sightseeing, for tours and everything, how much did I put? I also put 40,000 naira. It looks like 40,000 naira is the order of the day. Yeah, I also put 40,000 naira for it. So you can just budget about 50,000 naira and above. Notice that this amount, they can be an above. So it's just me giving you like just to have an idea. For the one that is free is Independence Square. You don't need to pay for that. Independence Square. That's one place. Must visit Independence Square. If I thought you don't visit anywhere and just go to, when just going to Ghana to relax, make sure you visit the Independence Square. 1 is free. 2 is the only way you like. If you don't go to Independence Square and even take a picture, just like even a safe riding video, did you really go to Ghana? No, you didn't. So make sure you go to Independence Square. It's free. Makola Market is also another place. You can just go and people watch. Makola market is like Het Balungu market in Lagos. That's Makola market in Accra. So you can get your souvenirs there. Just people watch out things that they sell. Even try out like more street food. Even try out there different street food, different things in Makola. So you can go there. It's free to enter. Just budget for so that in case of impulse buy budgets, I cannot spend more than this amount even if I enter this market. So it's free. For Jamestown, if you want a guided tour, you might pay a small fee. So if you are going and you need a guided tour, you pay around 100 cedis. It should be around 12,000 naira. And Labadi Beach too, it's a public asset, but there's entry fee. And that time I think I paid 20 cedis, 25 thereabouts, to enter. You can entry fee varies sometimes, but that's how much I paid then. So I entered there and I could relax, do anything. But if I want to order something, food you can buy, or do any activities, you also have to pay for those activities, like horse riding. Make sure to haggle for horse riding, because sometimes the prices can be so high. You know, that's like a highly touristic center, the Labadi Beach. Also Kwame Nkrumah Museum, if you're someone who likes history and you want to learn about it and visit the museum itself, you have to pay if you're a foreigner, like you're not a Ghanaian. So, but one good thing is there's a discount for people who are students. So if you're a student and you go to Ghana, they will give you a discount. Just tell them you're a student, show them your ID card. I think I got around 65 cedis instead of paying 100 cedis, which is about 12,000 naira. So now, as at now, 100 cedis online, I checked with Google, is 12,000 naira, 12,306. The National Museum, you want to learn about Ghana history and culture, there's also a similar entry fee as well. You can also go to the national mosques. I visited those places, so you're seeing them right now. So if there's something that interests you, you can visit those. Now, if you want to now stretch your budget, you can consider taking a day trip to the Kakum National Park and the Cape Coast Castle. That one comes with a fee, and you have to be able to haggle if they are good to you. Some people, if you go to the website, so all these places I'm telling you, what you can do is to just go and Google them and check reviews. You see a lot of, sometimes you see some people lamenting how they were so charged highly. But the thing is, if you go in a group, you may get, or if you go with a group tour that is organized like by a Ghanaian in Ghana, it may be cheaper. The light is back. I still believe that you can go outside, maybe not up to Cape Coast, but if you want to go outside Ghana, there's a place called Ivory National Garden. There's a place called Ivory Botanical Gardens, and if you're someone who likes nature, want to learn about that and be in the nature and take these fantastic pictures here, then you can go there. It's like a 3 hours, give or take, traffic, everything, from Accra. And you can go by bus, but you have to ask questions though, because I did the same thing. I have a video, like I have experience. Oh my god. So you don't get stranded. You also pay some fee, but I think it's very minimal. For foreigners, I think you pay around 20 cedis, which is around, like, say 25 thereabout. So Accra market, Accra arts and crafts in Accra. But I tell you to go to Makola, because things are cheaper in Makola than Arts and crafts, and you see everything souvenir-ish. Makola has everything from souvenir to different things. Like, it's just like your one-stop everything you find. But the Arts and crafts is just for souvenirs. But things are a lot more expensive in Accra, I noticed, because you can still get the same things for a lower price in Makola markets. So for miscellaneous and buffer, you know, you always have to have miscellaneous on ground. When I did everything, when I did everything, the amount left was 60,000 naira. So if you have more, it will be fine. Like, so now, because I said that if you're going on with a bus, 500k. The last I traveled with ABC transport was 85k going, 85k coming. So that's around 170,000 naira. So let's do it again. Accommodation, 140k for 4 nights for one person. Tourist fee, 40,000 naira. Taxi, 40,000 naira. Could be more. Food, 50,000 naira. Transportation, 170,000 naira. So miscellaneous, 60,000 naira. So if you calculate, you have 500k. If my math is matching, you have 500k. So what if you want to, you have a little more budget to splurge, just to go to another place? Now, what I did last time, you can also do the same. You can go from Ghana to Cote d'Ivoire, because Ghana shares a border with Cote d'Ivoire. So that's something that you can do. It will take you another 12 hours if you're going by road to go from Ghana to Cote d'Ivoire, but it's still cheaper than traveling by air. If you can afford to travel by air, beautiful. You can as well travel from Nigeria or from Ghana to Cote d'Ivoire. But one thing you have to know is that Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, is a French-speaking country. So there's a lot to consider. Also, there's Lomé, Togo, and Cotonou, Benin. If you're going by bus, when you're going from Nigeria, you're going to pass through these countries. Me, I count them as countries that I've visited because I spent 3 hours in each of these countries. I stepped down at some point, and so I count them as countries that I've visited. One thing you can do if you have the energy for it and you have the time and money to splurge a bit, you could take a bus. Let's say you're using ABC Transport from Nigeria, ABC Transport bus company, and take it straight to Cotonou and spend maybe 2 nights in Cotonou, and then book ABC from Cotonou to Accra. So that's something you can do if you want to take an extra of 200,000-300,000 naira for that. Okay, there's some other Nigerian buses that go to Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast. But I would advise that you shouldn't take a straight journey from Nigeria to Cote d'Ivoire if that's what you want to do. Make sure to break your journey because it's easier. Instead, you are going to break down. So you think that you can't get to Cote d'Ivoire. Most times, most people think, oh, in 24 hours I should be able to get to Cote d'Ivoire from Nigeria. Most times, like using all these most of these bus that goes to Cote d'Ivoire from Nigeria, I don't know, sometimes you spend like 2 days. I've heard stories, 2 days on the journey before you get to Cote d'Ivoire. Whereas you can just break your trip 12 hours to maybe Ghana, first of all, spend like maybe 2 nights, then take another trip from there to this thing, another 12 hours. And from Ghana, you can take STC. I use the STC bus, which is the government bus company for Ghanaians, like in Ghana. So, and I paid around 630 Cedis. That 630 Cedis is around, let's say 78,000 naira. That's 630 Cedis. That's how much I paid just going. So for going and coming, you want to keep around 150,000 naira. One thing you want to do in Cote d'Ivoire is, if you're really on a budget, you may not want to use a guided tour because it can be so pricey. Cote d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast is expensive, especially Abidjan, because when you're going there, you want to go to Abidjan because that's the economic capital. It's not the capital. The political capital is Yamoussoukro. But when you're going, the bus will drop you in, the STC bus will drop you in their STC station in Abidjan. So let me tell you something, you have to see, it's pricey. For an accommodation, I got like a place for myself, it's an Airbnb for $40 per night. That's around how much? Yes. So I did the budgeting for you. For if you're going to for Cote d'Ivoire, just add extra 300k. Say you're spending like 2 nights there, you spend, that's like another 50k or 60,000 naira, let's say. Then for food, you want to keep another 40,000 naira. And let me tell you something, you guys, like from Accra to this thing, I had to pay for stamp. Cote d'Ivoire is visa free for Nigerians. Okay, and yes, there's a question that some people ask, will they stamp my visa, will they not? I have questions, people asking questions. Yes, they will stamp your visa. So if you want stamps, go with passport. If those stamps matter to you, go with a passport. Now, the stamps for Cote d'Ivoire, they demanded that I pay them 10,000 CFA franc. And everybody kept saying that, oh, that's how this paid, that's how it's, I'm like, but it's free, visa free. But on paper, to get that stamp, you will pay that amount. If you can, I don't know if anybody has ever tried. I've seen like videos from Wode Maya who tried to, like, I think they tried to do something similar to him when he was in Togo. I don't know how it ended, but I don't know when they will stop this, because travel should be easier for Africans within Africa, right? Don't you think? So I just wanted to let you know that I did pay that. You can check my video on that. Also, they would demand for your yellow fever card. And while I had my yellow fever card, I noticed that they were looking for something that was not lost. They said, oh, you have your yellow fever card, but there's one vaccine that you have not taken that is missing, the meningitis vaccine. I'm like, meningitis vaccine? When I went there and I got my yellow fever card, I got all the vaccine I needed to get. And it's not as if, and you see it there, it was signed and all this. So what are you talking about meningitis vaccine? And last I checked, when I checked for the meningitis vaccine, as at this year or last year, the government, they said the meningitis vaccine is not compulsory, it's not mandatory. But I don't know why they were, and they kept saying you must pay for that. Look, the borders are, I don't know, for lack of better word, if you're not careful, they're going to extort you a lot if you're not careful, which is sad. They ask you to pay for this, pay for that. So we're able to go scot-free when we're going, but when we're coming back, they kept demanding. I told them I didn't have that amount they were asking for, honestly. And because I wanted to just go, I say, imagine the bus leaving you, because nobody is even, like I said, when we're coming from Nigeria, the bus trip felt like a guided tour. But coming back, it just going from Ghana to Cote d'Ivoire, it just felt like you're on your own. Honestly, it was frustrating. That frustrated me. It was so frustrating. Bolt doesn't work there. I'm not sure Uber works, but Yango works in this. And make sure to download this thing so you don't get frustrated. And make sure to get a SIM card or roaming. I wasn't able to roam my Ghana SIM. And also I heard somebody else also mentioning that they tried to roam their Ghana SIM, but they couldn't. So make sure you buy your a SIM card. So for translation, for easier translation, because it's a French-speaking country, like I said, you need that so you don't get frustrated. Some of you watching this already can tell, because I went to Cote d'Ivoire. If you've been following my journey along, and I was the most frustrated being. And that's partly on my side, because I didn't do my research enough. It's a French-speaking country. That is, most people do not understand English. Just the same way you don't understand French, you don't understand English. So that's it. So you have to make sure that you have your translator app, just so you don't have to have a lot of challenges on your way. So we have come to the end of this video. There you have it. Ghana is absolutely within your reach. You just have to do some proper planning, and yeah, you're good to go. Really, you're good to go. So let me know if this video was very helpful, if it opened your eyes, if you got a bit of clarity. Let me know in the comment section, and make sure to smash that like button as well, so that YouTube is going to recommend this video to a lot of people who may need it, especially in this season. Okay, let me know in the comments what's your top Ghana budget tip. Okay, let us know in the comments. You are going to also be helping other people as well, and maybe more places, more visit places, accommodation, recommendation, and all those good stuff as well. All right, and I will see you another time. Until then, make sure to click on the notification bell so you don't miss upcoming videos, and stay blessed. Bye.